Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I'm breaking down all the goals scored in AC Milan against Liverpool in the new Champions League format. Promise it's not the Super League, even though it walks like the Super League, talks like the Super League. It's definitely not. Definitely not trying to convince you of that at all. So, interesting game this. We did have a watch along. If you're new to the channel, come along and join our watch alongs, because I do break this stuff down in real time. And it's way more interesting. We have a bit of a laugh and a joke. But right now, we're looking here where an AC Milan win the ball back. And you can see this pocket of space. If I draw this little square here, you can see that little pocket of space there from Liverpool, where you've got the midfielder really can't get over. McAllister's gone a little bit too far. I think this is Ryan Gravenberch. He's gone a little bit too far forward. And then this is where all the sort of the weirdness happens. Van Dijk gets caught here, right? So he gets caught in a situation where a runner starts to go. So because this runner plays the ball first time, it takes Virgil van Dijk completely and utterly out of the game. Defensive midfielders, I'm not sure how Slot's playing, because I don't really think he's a defensive midfielder. I think he's a defensive interceptor, which is very, very different. I think he's actually trying to intercept passes and not actually trying to break the pass up. And trying to actually play like a traditional defensive midfielder. I think Gravenberch has got a little different model. And that's why he's on the wrong side of the field. As you can see, there's a brilliant line, Cash. There's the line. You can see he's right bang in the middle of the field, but the ball's on this side. So if he's a normal defensive midfielder, he would be over here on this side in front of this centre-back here. He's not. So he's kind of a little bit caught out. The left-back's a little bit too far, but they had possession of the ball, so that's exactly where he probably should be. Let's just move this forward. You can see what I mean about Van Dijk. Gets drawn by this little run here inside Dush. He knows he's never going to get there. He knows he's not going to be able to challenge for that pass. But what he does do by going in is opening up that space behind him there. So yeah, the space is open up with the left back gone. Now your left centre back has got caught up into a bit of a mess anyway, where quite frankly he doesn't need to get involved in that in any way, shape or form. He just needs to go, right, okay, I can let that guy have the ball there because my midfielders can come and deal with it. If I step up, there's space in behind. But what I don't think Van Dijk is really taking into account is if they've got pace to beat him, and they do. And that's where they get beaten here. When this ball gets played, it's first time, past Van Dijk's taking out 3 Liverpool players here, and then they're off to the races. There's the big problem. A little bit of a miscommunication with Van Dijk pulling in and the defensive midfielder or Gravenberch not being there and being a little bit too far wide, and everything just seems to go a little bit wrong. Liverpool do look like you can get at them this season. I know they didn't concede many goals in the Premier League so far, but I think you really can get them. Like Van Dijk shouldn't be pressuring the ball there unless he's going to win it. He knows better than that, but he does get completely and utterly caught out. Now it's a foot race running back, and just have a little look. You've got McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch, then Van Dijk. That's how far away that these players now are, right? Now, you've got Canine here, and you're looking at his run. Now, he does really need to try to close that angle. That's his run. That's where he wants to go. Not necessarily there. That's terrible, Cash. Not like that. But let's just do it properly. Right, his run really wants to be about like this, from about there to about there, and start squeezing the play as he can. Okay? And Trent needs to be slowly coming across now to deal with this player and telling Canine that he can go. That's what needs to happen. But there's this funny thing in modern football where they don't really cover for their teammates and players anymore. That shift that's supposed to slowly happen as you do, they don't do that. They just kind of go, well, I'm playing my position, I'm a right back. Trent, you can see there's a player there in the middle. You can go over and you can slowly push Canate over to start pressuring the ball to make sure that you can make some contact or some challenge and the guy just doesn't get a free shot off. Remember looking at the trailing pack. Van Dijk's at the back of the trailing pack, even though he was right here at the front. Let's move it on just a little bit. You can see Trent is now starting to come across, starting to get there, but Canate is doing like what I'd call a flat line, a flat run. He's just going flat to there. He isn't trying to just squeeze the space ever so slightly. And remember, he knows as soon as he starts to squeeze that space, chances are the ball's going to get played behind him. And that's where he's hoping his teammate is doing the right job and covering him for him so they can clear the ball. But none of those things happen. Now, by the time we've got to the 18-yard box, you can see Trent has come over and covered the player. But that distance there should have been the same as it was back on the about 15 yards back. So what you'd really want, if it's the same distance, Canate would be about there, because as Trent's come over to cover, Canate would have come over to cover for Van Dijk, and he would have been right in the possession of, in the way of the ball here, so he would have been able to stop this shot coming in. It's not. He's too far away. as it comes across. Look, he's not even close enough to make a challenge. He didn't make that little curved run. And this is what I think sort of stops Canate from being one of those absolutely fantastic defenders. I think he is great, to be fair. I do think he's a little bit underrated because he's next to Van Dijk quite a bit. But I do actually highly rate this guy. I believe he's a World Cup winner for France. He's quality. But that little run there, that little diagonal is the difference. Pushing and put Pulisic away and actually not him getting a shot in, and Liverpool keeping a clean sheet. Little tiny Alexi McAllister's managed to run all the way back. Gravenberch is there. Van Dijk's still not even in the picture. Don't know where the left back is. He's probably having a cup of tea somewhere. But you can see how far Trent's got coming across. And if Canine had just done the same yardage over there, he would easily been able to block this as he fires it into the bottom corner of the net box. Posh. If you make sound effects in the Champions League, you do get 2 goals. It's the law. 1-0 to AC Milan. However, it happens so often in football, the player that makes a sort of mistake, which is Canate in this one, and it's not one of those ones that most people are going to notice, but I notice them. He immediately goes and scores a goal a couple of minutes later. Simple little run in. And I'm looking at the keeper here. He's a bit flappy. He's come up, but Canate, he's right here in the middle. I'm going to show you another angle because I want to show you this keeper flapping. Just heads it to the net box. Nice and easy from a delivery over here from Trent. It's good to see Liverpool scoring on set pieces, considering they don't have a set piece coach. I think that's hilarious. This to me is a bit shocking. I've seen it twice in the Champions League. If you look at one of my other breakdowns, the keeper again is behind the point of contact and he's coming out trying to win the ball. He's got no reason to be up here like this. I've seen a couple of these times they're just better off staying on their goal line because they can't get up here. Look at the height of Canate's got. Look how high up he is. Easy little contact for him. Heads into the net box. And the flappy keeper's trying to punch, I don't know what, maybe he saw a Bruce Lee movie and got excited before the game started, I'm not quite sure, but that is shocking. Another set piece goal here from Liverpool. Tsimikas making the delivery, but I've been noticing Van Dijk's been doing this thing where he used to sort of hang out here on the back stick and come and run in. He's been standing with the keeper quite often. And I don't know if that's just a case of these keepers aren't just good enough and he basically wants to be a brick wall in front of the keeper with the keeper behind him and hope the ball hits him and goes into the goal and he can just header it in. But it seems to be effective here. I'm going to show you a bit of a close-up in a second as this ball comes across. Bosch. Van Dijk gets his little header in here. The keeper, again, is in no man's land. If you're playing AC Milan, put in decent crosses because this keeper isn't going to come and catch him. He's not very good at that. Catching and using his hands, no. Here we are, Van Dijk's up early. No one's really close enough to challenge him. It's basically a free header. It's pretty poor defending from AC Milan, really. They did make the game a little bitty and kicky, but simple things about defending Van Dijk and jumping in front of him as a defender, that's just too easy for someone of his stature. Way too easy. Let's get on to the last goal. This is quality play from here from Gravenberch. He puts a pass that cuts out all of the AC Milan midfield and puts it onto a runner. Really good pass, threading the eye of a needle. Gets it right through. Now Liverpool are 3v1. Now I'm going to show you right at the end here because it's just a standard breakaway goal running down, but I want to show you something that Gakpo does just to create himself that extra yard of space. He slows the defender down on his run. He's full run and then he just slows down. It's so Stanley Matthews' old trick. All you do is you run, and you slow down because that guy's got to slow down to tackle you. And the minute he slows, then you accelerate and you get that extra half a step on him. And that's what happens here. Defender comes in, Gakpo slows down and then he accelerates again and the defender's just trying to foul him. Slobosai coming in with the midfield. Liverpool do get numbers forward. In this game, different from the one we were watching on the weekend with Nottingham Forest, Liverpool look like they're going to score goals going forward. There's a number of times here when they hit the post. Hit the bar. I think Salah hit the bar twice, and Kostas Tsimikas hit the man in row Z. He was having an ice cream or a beer or something, and Tsimikas was trying to hit him. I don't know why, but he had at least 3 shots trying to hit the guy in the crowd. But they were creating chances. And if they're going to progress on the slot, that's what they need to do. Goals change games. And if they keep scoring goals, they will change games. But AC Milan here, defensively as well, it was interesting because we were talking on the live stream about it. They were very compact when they had that, after that 5-10 seconds of transition time, and they could get back in their shape. They were very structured and disciplined, and they looked very good, especially in the first half. Second half, not so much. They never really seemed to get back into their shape defensively. When they did, they were very, very hard to break down. But a little bit of pace and power on the transition, and they just couldn't deal with it. So in comes Gakpo, looking for his teammates to back him up. And they do. There's 2 of them in the middle here. And I think it's Slobosai just gets a touch on it and knocks it into the net box. No pressure on the ball. They can't get anywhere near Gakpo. He's beaten his man, and the passes, really it was the passes that tore him apart. There's not much AC Milan could really do about it. I think they were just out of their, little bit out of their league here. They need to progress and get a couple extra players if they're going to try to compete at this level. In comes the cross. Nice little finish. It's kind of off his knee, kind of off his shin, but it gets into the far corner, and off we go. Other than that, join us for our watch-alongs. Bunch of links in the description below for audio books that I do. Other than that, give us a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.